Once you reach a certain age, your eyes start naturally gravitating to the GYAT. It's just something that we as humans do. Whether it's man's butt, girl butt, horse butt, our eyes just want to look at butt. And when playing our favorite RPGs, we start to notice high polygon butts. I've decided to do things differently today. I've compiled a list of the top 10 butts of RPGs. So obviously this list will focus on characters from role-playing games. So there will be no tracers, divas, or chainsaw lollipops in this video. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes. At the end of the day, we are just appreciating nature's gifts as God intended, like one does at the Grand Canyon. So sit back, preferably somewhere quiet, if you know what I mean, and let's go ahead and get into the top 10 butts of RPGs. And make sure you stay until the end for some honorable mentions. Now I don't know about you, but I'm honestly getting tired of the whole Panam versus Judy argument when it's been V the whole time. V is the name of the player character for Cyberpunk, but today we're talking about female V, also known as Valerie. Now I know what you're thinking, how can your customizable character be on this list? But here's the thing, there's no character in Cyberpunk named V. You the player are V. You create your character completely. It's the entire point of a role-playing game. You create who they are as a person, their background, their appearances, skin color, their scars, as well as reasons for why they have those scars. You pick their eye color, hair color, you can even choose the size of your jugs. But there is one thing that you cannot change, and that's the GYAT. Your butt will always be the same shape and size, and I mean just look at it. A Netrunner suit doesn't need to be this tight, but I'm glad it is. Booty shorts aren't called booty shorts for nothing. Now I don't want a third person mode like all the plebs, but if there was a third person mode, you can bet your sweet bippy that I'll be staring at the GYAT the whole time. It's not creepy to stare at your own butt, is it? But while we're on the topic of lusting over your own booty, let's talk about Nora. Bethesda can't seem to make good video games these days. I think they've lost their touch. That or Todd Howard is trying an unorthodox business model, and as a result they lost the trust of the gaming community. But there's one thing that Bethesda hasn't lost, and that's the ability to make a GYAT. But this isn't about Starfield. Nora is the female player character who is a lawyer, while Nate is the male player character who is a veteran. But you can change the name to whatever you want. Nate is cool and all, but Nora has the best GYAT in the Commonwealth. I have GYAT to get me a lawyer. Now Ciri from The Witcher 3 may not technically be you, but you do get to take control of her from time to time throughout The Witcher 3. Imagine this. You fall in love with a toxic gothic girl, and after a few decades the gods quite literally give you the Emperor's daughter to raise as your own. And you get to watch this chubby, ugly little demon grow into a beautiful woman. But when she turns around, you notice that she's got the GYAT. The plot of The Witcher 3 has you track her down before the Wild Hunt finds her. Now you eventually do find her, but you will notice that she's kinda bad. I know she's basically your daughter, but since she's technically not your daughter, it's not as weird. But we are not here to fetishize over fart boxes, we are here to appreciate nature's gift of booty. And don't worry, she's not the only Witcher GYAT on this list. For now, we can move away from the trend of obsessing over your own butts, and move on to something more intentionally sexualized. I bet you didn't expect to see a Nintendo game on this list. Now don't worry, I'm not going to be talking about Pokemon, or the Pokemon. We're talking about Xenoblade Chronicles, more specifically, Mythra. Mythra is probably everyone's favorite Xenoblade character given her eccentric personality and massive bazookas. She also has an amazing GYAT. When Mythra walks into a room, everyone stares, including me.
You were staring. Huh? Pervert!
Now playing Cyberpunk and preparing for the heist is as simple as Cyberpunk gets, until you meet the bouncer at Lizzie's and fall in love. Her skin is metallic, her heart is made of gold, and her booty is full of cake. Rita has GYAT the best small booty I've ever seen. When you slap it, you hear the sound of hollow metal, although Rita would probably stomp you into the ground if you did that. I'm into it.
Eye of the tiger, babe.
Let's take a visit to CD Projekt Red's other title. Everyone seems to debate over one thing, and that's Triss versus Yennefer. And no, I don't mean 1v1 power scaling, you weirdo. Who's the best girl? Who is the better wife? Who's got the best piece of booty in all the land? You can argue personality all you want, even though Triss is better in every single way. But both Triss and Yennefer got the same booty. Literally. I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Triss and Yennefer are the two main romance partners in The Witcher 3. Triss is a kind redhead who genuinely likes you, while Yennefer is a toxic old lady that treats you, and all men for that matter, like obese dogs with lung cancer. So pick your poison, even though only one of them is actually poison. Unfortunately, if you try to romance both of them, they will figure it out, lure you in with an enticing threesome, and leave you tied up in the motel room. But when it comes to GYAT, it's exactly the same. So unlike Geralt, this spot on this list will share both Triss and Yennefer. CD Projekt Red clearly isn't afraid of making their women actually look attractive. Moving back to Cyberpunk, the Phantom Liberty DLC has booty just as good as the rest of the game. But more specifically, we're talking about Songbird. No, not that Songbird. Although I do wonder what that Robo-GYAT looks like, but rather this Songbird, the organic Songbird. Songbird recruits you to rescue the president because her plane is about to crash in the most dangerous place in Night City. But when you rescue her, Songbird vanishes, so you have to wake up a sleeper agent named Solomon Reed and go look for her. Long story short, Songbird is a pathological liar who manipulates you into getting involved with the NUSA and Barghest, just to tell you that she can't actually help your condition. So why does everyone seem to be in love with her? What could be the reason that everyone lets the manipulation, the gaslighting, and the no Russian genocide slide? Other than these people being attracted to extremely toxic women, guilty, she has a GYAT worth dying for. When Johnny called her a walking nuke, he wasn't talking about the Blackwall. He was talking about the dump truck. This GYAT may only be visible when she's a construct, but ain't it a view? But it wouldn't be a top 10 best butts video without Miranda, and you're probably wondering why she's only number 3. Well, you will just have to wait and see who can out-booty the Miranda Lawson. Miranda is one of many romanceable companions in Mass Effect 2. Even if you haven't played Mass Effect, you've heard about the legendary butt shots. So for those who haven't played Mass Effect, or just didn't pay attention because you were clearly distracted, Miranda was actually genetically crafted by her father in a lab using his own DNA. She was designed to be the perfect woman with perfect genes, including intelligence, physical fitness, biotic abilities, and the perfect figure. If she couldn't convince, threaten, or bribe to get whatever she needed, then she would be able to seduce for whatever she needs to accomplish her mission. So her father intentionally gave her the best bubble butt in the entire galaxy, specifically for this purpose. I don't know whether to call that creepy or smart. You are probably wondering who could possibly have a better, more perfect GYAT than the Miranda Lawson. The answer is simple. This is Tamira, the White Orchard herbalist. She's the best herbalist in the entire game, as you can visit her from the start, and she can sell you any ingredient you could possibly need. So visiting her is always my top priority. But when you make your way to the herbalist, you open the door to find the nicest slab of red meat in the Northern Territories. Tamira will always have my business as long as she doesn't mind my lustful gaze. Before we get into the best GYAT of all time, we should probably talk about some honorable mentions. Butts that either just didn't make the cut, or butts that aren't exactly from RPGs, but rather games with RPG elements. Now I obviously can't forget about Judy, the lesbian romance option for Cyberpunk. She wears a mechanic-style overalls of all things, so she doesn't usually have the GYAT we've been looking for. However, during her side quest where you go diving, you can really see how fit the Judester actually is. The wetsuit really gets right up in there. Not that I'm complaining or anything. But do you remember the crazy doctor lady from Borderlands 2? Well, if you don't, then you probably didn't play Borderlands 3. They decided to turn Borderlands into a girl boss franchise with the third, or technically fourth, installment of the game, which obviously sucks. But when the game first came out, me and my friend grinded through the game, making fun of it and having a fun old time. But we were left in complete and utter shock and disbelief over the absolute dump truck that they gave Tannis, which was definitely the highlight of the game for us. Now, I have played almost every Final Fantasy game that's ever been on Xbox Game Pass within the last 3 years, and I've always found them boring and couldn't get into the franchise. However, when I played Final Fantasy 15, I was instantly hooked. I'm not sure why 15 was a different story, but within the first hour of the game I was met with the best Japanese GYAT I have ever seen. This of course belonging to Cindy, who I guess is the mechanic, as I'm not entirely sure because it's been a while since I've played that game. But let's go ahead and move on to the best GYAT in RPGs. Now I may be a little biased here, but what on God's green earth are they feeding you out in the Badlands, because holy... Panam Palmer is known for making a great first impression. You meet her because you need to kidnap a corpo VIP who's being escorted in a guarded AV, so you end up getting her number and setting up a meet. Everyone's first impression of Panam is her bending over the hood of a car working on the engine. In case you forgot about Michael Bay's Transformers movie, this is a view that every man wants to see, and the absolute unit that she's got doesn't help matters much. Not a single person would disagree that Panam has one of the best GYATs in video game history. That is, unless you're a contrarian. There you have it, the top 10 best booties of RPGs. Feel free to let me know your favorite video game butts, but just know that like many people who see this video are judging me for making it, they'll probably be judging you too. But me, I won't judge. Everyone loves good booty, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. If you're interested in seeing more RPG related content, then feel free to subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you later, and remember, the media lies.